Hi there, Internet world.
What's happening, interwebs? How are you doing?
Need to take a slug off the big boy.
There you go.
Yeah, I was going to get an 18-pack, but then I was like, there's still some Newcastles that need to go away and a few bows.
Yeah.
There's still a couple of Gecko beers. Not a bunch, but a couple of Gecko
You
beers.
actually have a couple people watching right now.
Oh, fantastic.
Goodness, they just saw me yawn.
It's what I fucking deal with every fucking week, people. I cannot keep this son of a bitch awake.
I'm exhausted. I didn't drink from the time I left here Monday night until Saturday afternoon. Then I basically went on a 36-hour bender.
Well, that a boy.
So today I'm just a little run down.
Oh, poor you.
Yeah, I'm all right.
It'd be all right. Yeah, exactly. I said I was going to buy 18-pack, but then I was like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to buy 3 big boys in the house. I liked having
The old bullets.
Oh, man.
I still contend that a 22 is the biggest a beer should be.
This one's actually a 24, but
Well,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
That size, yeah.
The big can.
Yeah, 40 gets, by the time you get to the bottom of it, it's warm.
40 always gets warm. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not a fan of a 40 either. It's even back when, younger and everybody, drink 40s. I just, no.
I used to like bringing 40s to dart practice. You remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
Dave's basement?
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah, no, they get warm. No.
Yeah.
Not any
I'm
good.
not into that either.
No, not one bit. And the bourbon's good. Did you pour yourself a little bit more, Mr. Graham?
I have not poured any more yet. I should do that.
You probably should.
You know what's good with Graham being behind me now? I just yawn.
Excellent. So
Perfect.
fabulous that we've got some people in the viewing audience.
Oh, and I can throw things at you now.
You threw things at me just a week ago, hon.
Oh, that's right.
How quickly the memory forgets.
Meh.
Abusive fucking wife.
Stop it.
Here we go.
I do like the warm, thoughtful eyes of D-back looking over my shoulder constantly.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
Well, he's got to keep eye over things because some people need to not be. Yeah. For those you don't know, when I'm looking this way, I'm looking right at one producer Mel.
What? For those stories and more, sound check.
I heard sound check. All right, we ready to do a show, kids?
Yes.
I am prepared.
Let's do this shit.
All right, ready? Now he's ready. Now he's ready. The trifecta.
This is Alan Brody, supporter of Everton Football Club, reminding you that Arsenal sucks, Liverpool are a bunch of gobshite cucks, and Villa, well, Villa fucks. You're listening to the Drunkard United Football Show.
I mean, they are losers of 4 in a row, so maybe fucking's the only thing they do well, Mr. Graham.
Could be. Absolutely could be.
Because winning football games, no so good right now.
Now, you know what I heard the announcer say, too? Matthew Cash. It made me feel dirty.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the Drunkard United Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League is told by 2 common American schmucks. She knows she's going to get yelled at for that one.
She was
I am
busy
your host,
dancing.
Sam Houston, and across the way from me with the poofiest of hair, Mr. Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing, buddy?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty fucking good.
Yeah, very excited for this one.
This
We're
is-
breaking into the top 5 today.
Yeah, and fuck, the weekend's action was really fucking good too, man.
There was
So-
some decent football played this weekend.
Well, I wouldn't so much call Everton Manchester United
No,
decent.
not that one.
It was entertaining as fuck, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Sam, tell the good people how they get in touch.
Surely. It is very simple, actually. dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email or at dufootballshow on all of your social medias.
Fabulous. Yes. Saw a couple new reviews. Please keep doing that. Please keep sharing. Obviously, if you want to see the process live, we do a live recording every Monday night. We're on YouTube, and
A few of you are here now. Welcome. Thank you.
not on Twitch yet because I still haven't given her the password because I don't know what the fuck it is. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. As you already alluded, Mr. Graham, we are cracking the top 5.
Yes, number 5 today in your Whiskey Advocates Top 20 of 2021, which I'm getting a lot better at saying finally. Only took me 15 bottles of fucking whiskey to do it.
One would say after 15 bottles of whiskey, you should be saying it worse.
This is the George Dickel 8-year-old. It is 90 proof. Should run you around $33 on the shelf, although it is not available in Maryland. We had to get this from a friend of ours that traveled.
Key thing, bourbon, not a Tennessee whiskey from George
Correct. Yep. And again, with the list, you
Dickel.
can
Knock
always
it into the microphone.
you can always expect it to be a little bit more than the suggested retail price. The lovely people at the Whiskey Advocate rated it a 93. And your blurb this week comes from Mr. Ted Simmons. Nicole Austin hasn't rested on her laurels since George Dickel bottled and bond won Whiskey of the Year in 2019. Continuing to create an affordable whiskey at Cascade Hollow Distillery, this is notably a bourbon rather than a Tennessee whiskey. Though the criteria for the two styles mostly overlap. The nose is nutty and well-spiced with caramel corn, toasted pecans, cinnamon graham crackers, cherry tart, and butterscotch candies. There is a friendliness to the palate that makes it ideal for outdoor imbibing, with notes of spearmint, mixed berries, nougat, and honey. Now, we all know Twix is the only candy bar with the cookie crunch.
Yes, there was a big war about that one.
Anytime I hear the word nougat, it takes me right back to George Costanza in that fucking car dealership and the Twix candy lineup.
Yep.
Brilliant. And honey. Big spice, big spice on the finish, makes this a memorable sip. So I have tried a little bit during sound check, but I want to revisit it quickly and tell you what I think. What do you think about
Well, first off, right off the jump, I said, let's do this neat because it's a very soft bourbon. There's not a ton of heat to it, even though it is a standard 90 proof. The major difference, real quick, for those of you who don't know, between Tennessee whiskey and bourbon. Tennessee whiskey follows all the same laws as bourbon. They're a minimum of 51% corn. They're distilled twice, not distilled over 160 proof, aged in brand new American white oak. These are all things that are done with bourbon.
Yes.
But then they do the Lincoln County process, which is mellowing the whiskey through charcoal maple, right? So you take sugar maple, burn it down, and then you drip the distillate through it. It adds a little bit of a sweetness to it. Hence why Jack Daniel's is sweeter than most bourbons, because it's not a bourbon. It's a Tennessee whiskey,
Right.
because of that specific process. So it's interesting to see someone, doing, there is bourbon made in Tennessee, but most of Tennessee prides itself on making Tennessee whiskey.
Right.
This is a great little bourbon. I think it's definitely deserving of the top 5. What I like about it, it's the simplicity in it. This is just a really good fucking bourbon.
Yeah, it's delicious. I like it a lot.
Not wrong about outside. I could drink this on a 95 humid as fuck day that we're going to have during the summer. I could drink a glass of this with my beer.
Problem is
Easily.
that's all we have, and we can't get any more.
Yeah, but that's the problem. It's not available in this market. If
Right.
it was, we'd get more.
We were lucky enough that a friend of ours had a bottle he brought back from Tennessee and was willing to part with it,
Yeah.
which was very nice of him.
Yes, very kind of him. What did you think, Sam? What do you think of the whiskey?
So I completely agree with you. It is a bit sweeter up front. Butterscotch for me kind of stands through, and you do get a touch of that spice. I wonder what the mash bill is here. If there's a little higher of a rye content than is typical. They just don't mention it. But I did get a peppery spice on the finish. It didn't last as long as I thought it would. for its age.
I'll
It
give you
kind of
that. Yeah.
lacks for me in that department. I kind of want it to linger a little bit longer on the palate, but it's delicious nonetheless. It's very, very good.
But if I was so, let's face it, like the Old Fitz and the Master's Keep are better bourbons than this.
Yeah, of course they are.
But then if you do it compared to price, that leans.
Well, that's
that
it.
means
For
something.
for an MSRP of $33,
It's fucking fantastic.
you can't beat that. Yeah, no. I mean, what's that? This is $26 wholesale.
Yeah,
right around there.
That is a fantastic bottle of whiskey for that price point, and that's something that I appreciate that the Whiskey Advocate does in that regards. Is they also take a look and go, okay, well, let's also talk price point and what is it, price per pound versus just hey, I can let this whiskey sit for 12 years. Well, there's going to be a big difference.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
100%.
The one other thing I wanted to mention is you did mention the master distiller and how she had already won a whiskey of the year with the Bottle and Bond. That was the first year we actually decided to review the list, and it was good. But I gotta say, on that list, I think the Dewar's 21, which came in second place, was far superior.
Probably better. Yeah, I'm with you there.
I don't think it was bad. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad we got it. I'm glad it was fun to see it be number one. But at the end of the day, I don't agree that was the number one whiskey that year.
Bottle and Bond, I mean, to kind of dumb it down, is sort of the first designation of quote unquote craft. Because there is extra oversight, there are extra standards to hit, like a minimum of 4 years old, blah 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 blah, 100 proof.
I call it USDA choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus USDA prime. Like, okay, here's a standard. This is where it is.
Right. So, no one's Bottled and Bond ever really knocks your socks off or blows me away.
Yeah, other than the McKenna, which you can't get your hands on a bottle of McKenna.
It's normally affordable, and it's at least decent.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to have, but I don't know that it could have been whiskey of the year for me. I mean, maybe on the list, but yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you there.
And if you ever hear us use the term bib, that's what we mean.
Bottle
and
and
bond. We'll call them bibs or bibbers. Like, that's typically what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're getting into the top 5, and this whiskey's bloody fucking lovely.
Yeah,
I really do like
delightful.
it. All right, what else we got to do, Mr. Graham?
Always remember to drink responsibly.
Hey, hold on. How about this? You and I could do it across the table.
That's the first time in this room we've ever cheersed.
Well, we
this
did
show.
back in the first couple of seasons we would, but because we both stood up and leaned across the way to be able to do that, and it was not very good.
No.
Not very good at all.
It's starting to grow on me, this table.
I like it too. Most of the time, when two powerhouses face off, it can be rather tame. Not this time. It may have finished a draw, but on Sunday, Sammy, football won. Manchester City 2, Liverpool 2. What a fucking match.
Yeah, there's loads of talking points.
Oh my God.
Loads and loads of talking points. Thiago Alcantara probably could have been sent off for a second yellow.
Absolutely.
Ederson probably should have just allowed to score an own goal on himself. Right. That was weird. Honestly, probably should have kept out Mane's goal.
Well,
it Mane's or it was Jota's goal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He probably should have kept it. He got a hand to it.
Yeah.
But it was Jota's goal he should have kept out. But it was end stuff. I mean, both teams what was it, 2?
These matches are normally chess matches, right? It's normally like we're going to fill each other out. No, 5 minutes, it's 1-0. 12 minutes, it's 1-1. Fuck you. No, we already know each other. We know what we're doing here. Let's fucking go. It was really crazy.
Was it Project Restart or was it last season, right before they broke for the knockout rounds of the Champions League? Or maybe it was the international break in March. Either way, the first half was decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think it ended 1-1, but the second half was atrocious. Like both teams just foamed it in. They were just like, yeah, fuck it.
They went.
Was that last season or the season before that?
I think it might have been the season before.
But you could tell both of these teams. Liverpool have the quadruple on the cards, and City have a treble left to play for.
Oh, and don't look now. they play each other again
in the semifinals of
next
the FA Cup.
weekend.
Yeah, and if in the semifinals
Next
of the FA Cup,
weekend.
yeah, and if it comes down to it, honestly, they'll probably get each other in the Champions League. So we could be getting this a few more times this season. It's going to be fucking amazing.
To harken it back to something local for us, back when Maryland was in the ACC in 2001, not the year that Maryland won the national title in 2002, but in 2001, Maryland and Duke faced each other 4 times. They faced each other in the ACC final, and they faced each other in the Final Four. And in that year, I mean, it was horrible for us as Maryland fans because that was the year of Gone in 60 Seconds at Maryland, where they gave up a 10-point lead with less than a minute left in the game. They then lost in the ACC final, turned around and lost after a 20-point lead in the Final Four. It was just an absolute heartbreaker. But the bigger point was that was number 1 versus number 2 4 times in 1 year.
Yeah.
And we're going to get that here.
Yeah, basically.
We're going to get that here.
If they could do their jobs,
yeah,
right, in the Champions League and make it to the point in which they'll have to face each other, that would be the 5th time.
I don't root for Liverpool to do well because I'm an Everton supporter and I hate Liverpool. We all want Liverpool Man City in the Champions League final, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what we all want.
100%.
Like, I mean, there's even Madrid fans that are like, yeah, that'd probably be pretty great to see.
I'm over Bayern. I don't care.
Yeah.
Real Madrid are annoying. You know, they don't deserve it after the Super League shit, you know, that they continue to hark on. At least the ownership of Liverpool, of City, of Chelsea. The less said about Chelsea's ownership, the better. But,
allegedly.
but at least those owners have backed off a bit on that. The Real Madrid leadership is continuing to hark on it. Same with Juventus. I mean, they deserve everything they got fucking coming to them. And I hope somebody takes them out.
Yeah, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I actually want to see City Liverpool in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
I really hope that's it. Now I want City to win. But
I don't.
Yeah.
And the only reason I don't is because, I mean, Liverpool are a historic club, blah, 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 blah. They have money because of the ownership, but they had money prior to that.
Right.
City is new money.
Well,
and
it's also
new money annoys me.
It's the one thing it's the one thing they want. It's the one thing they haven't gotten. So and I know you, as storied as your club is, and as the amount of trophies you won, the one that's eluded you.
It's a champion. It's a European trophy in general.
And you've been to finals. You've lost in finals.
Yeah, we lost. Was it 2000? We lost the Europa League final, and in 2006 we lost the Champions League final.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So those are tough. Like those are like and so I'm sure for you, you're like, fuck City. You'd probably give you a little. I mean, even when they lost last year to Chelsea, I chuckled. I was like, still can't get that Champions League final, can you now, sucker?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
One thing worth mentioning. I want to say it was a tale of two halves, but not really. I think the first half, you could really tell the rustiness of Liverpool, where we've been kind of talking about while they've won 10 in a row, it hasn't been pretty, right?
Correct.
They did not look good in the first half, and City was clearly the aggressor.
Yeah, I mean, both teams had a go at it, but Liverpool were like half a step off.
Yeah.
It was like that pass was just a yard off of where it should have been.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of little stuff. And against somebody like City, against that quality, what are you going to do? You know, I mean, that's how the first goal happened. Fabinho, I think it was, gave the ball away, and Kevin De Bruyne snatched it up. Mm-hmm. And even though it was deflected, it was a fantastic strike.
Oh, God, yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful. And I love when a ball kisses off the inside of the post, goes across, and hits the other one.
And
it's fantastic.
And then the second goal comes right at the end of the half, which normally that can really demoralize a team. Exact opposite. I don't know what Jurgen said. It might be something about, doing something very uncomfortable to them if they don't get their heads out of their asses. But they came out, and within 5 minutes, boom, 2-2.
Right.
And now I want to say then it was a Liverpool second half, but it really wasn't. After that point, it was both teams kind of throwing blows. So it was like, I don't feel like Liverpool was ever in control of the match, like where I felt like in the first half, like City could be doing more right now. Like City's putting it on them. But still, at the end of the day, it was two teams that threw the jab and just kind of real nice and easy. But when they went for big punches, they normally connected, and it was a fun. God,
Well, I mean, Jesus' goal, the one you spoke about just before halftime, is fucking brilliant.
yeah.
How hard that skill is. I mean, Allison kind of put himself in a bad situation. When Jesus made contact with the ball, Allison was kind of in no man's land. But a fantastic bit of control to just lift it over. Allison cushioned it so perfectly. Hit the underside of the cross, just kind of grazed the underside of the crossbar. It was absolutely excellent. You can't, you can't beat that. And then the Mane goal, what the fucking pass from Salah? Holy shit, that's proper dick on the forehead stuff.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean? Just like lay it right on your forehead. Bow.
I was going to say Jesus' goal was almost as brilliant as Ashley Young's goal. The only problem was Ashley Young's goal was in his own net. That's a jab, producer Mel. That's a jab.
She's not listening to you.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
somebody's going back to Highland game. Actually probably pricing out and buying already the extension of the table. Where they're now still at the same spot, separated by 1 point. Where do you think this leaves us, Sam?
So it's difficult. I was listening to a bit of Talk Sport today, the British National Talk Sports radio station. And they were like, it's not really necessarily who's going to drop points, right? It's really hard. It's really hard to decipher because they're both so goddamn good.
Yeah.
So it's like,
sorry, Russ.
I don't think anybody can really take points off of them that either of them have left. You could say that Liverpool have maybe a little bit of a tougher run in.
Yeah. They do have Spurs, and Spurs are on fire right now.
Yeah, so that's part of it, but they have the ability to deal with that.
They also still have a Northwest derby with Manchester City. They still have the Merseyside derby. They still have the Merseyside derby with Everton. And for them, it's also, let's look at the way those games are lined up. They just played City. They play City in the FA Cup. Then they play United in the midweek. And by the way, in between that, they have the second leg of their Champions League.
Yeah.
Then they play the FA Cup. Then they turn around on a Tuesday and play Manchester United in the Northwest Derby, which
it's like a training match.
United's a fucking joke right now, but it's still that derby. And as we say, derbies mean nothing. And then you have Everton, and it's like, honestly, they could look past Everton because Everton's not been very good.
Right.
But then suddenly looking past Everton could find yourself at Anfield tying 0-0, which is losing a point.
Which would lose the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Could lose the season.
You would lose the title.
And I would love it.
But the other thing, besides that, too, is what's the rotation going to look like?
Yeah.
With those Champions League games, because they're still fighting on that front. Now, that being said, again, they've won Champions Leagues and won some recently, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's not as high necessarily on the radar as it is for Manchester City, in my opinion. So, but both squads are deep enough to rotate as well and still deal with it.
Which is what you imagine Jurgen's going to do now. He did throw, let's face it, he threw out his best starting 11 against City. He went, I'm putting my best on the pitch, period. Whereas Pep did a little bit more of that rotation.
Tinkering. Yep, little tinkering.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful to see that a game of this magnitude actually lived up to the billing. It was a great spectacle for the Premier League.
I will say this, though, that definitely benefits Liverpool in this regards. If one of the two teams is going to fuck off a game so far this season, the team that's done it has been City.
Mm-hmm.
A huge week for the bottom of the table, Sam. Here's the thing. We're throwing all the European action, which there's a lot of spots up for grabs for Europe. We're throwing that into Oso because the bottom of the table had a lot of shit going on.
Big time.
And it didn't even just change game by game. It changed minute by minute throughout this weekend as well, which was insane. Burnley 3, Everton 2, Everton 1, Manchester United 0, Norwich 2, Burnley 0, Leeds 3, Watford 0. Burnley just flat out willed their way to victory in the match in the midweek against Everton. That's all it was. It was sure will. We are going to win this game, and they found a way to win it because they weren't necessarily the better side.
No, I mean, in my opinion, the entire game was just a load of draws. It was terrible.
It was not
a fucking ugly game.
Not an attractive game to watch.
It was exactly what you think of at a home game in Burnley.
How is a 5-goal match not attractive to watch?
Yeah.
Burnley and Everton figured out a way to do that.
And I almost had my own Alex Jones style rant after you've received 2 penalty calls.
Huh?
It's like, big soccer doesn't want Everton to go down. Maybe Liverpool's trying to have Everton stay up because everybody knows what Batman would be without the Joker. Nothing.
Although the Daily Mail now does have a story out there about apparently Everton losing too much money over the COVID period, and then now there's talk of points deduction. But
that wouldn't be assessed till next season.
Oh God, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Also, that apparently other clubs could sue them apparently as well.
Right? Yeah, which is that normally never
no
goes
sense
anywhere.
to me at all.
Yeah, that normally doesn't change anything.
The first one I can say that Anthony Gordon definitely likes to embellish a lot, but if you put your arm around a player and try to bring him into you and hug him from behind, like that, like I put my arm around your shoulder and pull you towards me thing, that normally is going to equal a penalty, and that's unfortunately what happened.
Well, you would think that.
Yeah, and that's why there was a penalty.
There's a lot of times it doesn't get called.
For Everton, a.k.a. Brentford, where literally Rondon got undressed, where they were ripping his shirt off of his body. And
Love tap.
And then the second one, for Myelinko, he felt the contact and he went down. And was it soft? Sure. But under the guises of the way they're calling penalties, right? You looked at they went to the VAR, and there were 2 things they were going to look at. Did Lennon touch the ball? No. Did Lennon make contact with the player? Yes. And that's one thing that VAR has agree with the rule or disagree with the rule. 100% of the time, if those 2 things happen, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Now,
it's very similar.
If you even get the slightest touch of the ball, like Hugo Lloris against Richarlison earlier in the year, not a penalty.
Right.
It's must touch the ball if you touch the man. And if that does not happen, penalties getting called. So
it's very similar, actually, to the one with Chris Wood.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was already going down, and he left his leg out, to get hit. It's a perfectly legitimate penalty call.
Mm-hmm.
He sold it. But it was real, but he definitely did his part in making sure that it happened.
Oh, of course.
And it's very similar to that, in my opinion, where if he wanted to avoid the contact, he probably could have. But that's the last thing that we need to be throwing in to further complicate anything that VAR does is what was the intention of the player and could he gotten out of the way?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off.
We don't need that incorporated. No.
So by that definition, right, by that set of standards, yeah, it's a definite penalty, honestly.
So
All jokes aside.
halftime, 2 goals from Richie, 2-1 up. You think, here you go, right? You know what Sean Dyche, he later on in his post presser told his boys at halftime?
Something about just kicking in the back of the net.
Everton does not know how to win on the road. We will win this game.
Huh.
It's exactly what he said to his team.
So yeah,
He said that quote directly in the post presser said, Everton does not know how to win on the road. I knew we could win this game.
That's funny.
And
that's probably the more tactical awareness than I thought ever would have come out of Sean Dyche's mouth.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of tactical awareness, not that I want to say he is God's gift to football. He is hurt every time he takes the pitch. In fact, thank you for your service on Saturday, which we'll get to in a minute.
We'll see you in 6 months.
We'll see you in 6 months. But if you have a very bad defense that's leaking a lot of goals, normally the answer to that is a holding midfielder. Fabian Delph is healthy. What position does Fabian Delph play?
Ooh, pick me.
Please.
Holding midfielder.
A holding midfielder holds the ball, doesn't lose it, passes, and protects the defense, which is exactly what Everton needed, considering the guy who was the, quote, holding midfielder, Mason Holgate, a center back by trade, was on a yellow.
Yep.
Frank never made that sub.
No.
And he's on the bench. If he's on the bench, he's fucking healthy.
Yep.
Because if he's not healthy, Why is he on the bench?
Agreed.
And you looked at John Joe Kenny, who got worked for the second goal.
Yes, he did.
Worked. And who else is on the bench? Seamus Coleman.
Yep.
How do you not make those subs? And then subsequently for the United match, those two played, made all the fucking difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
they were fantastic, Everton. The game itself wasn't particularly pretty again.
Oh, we're moving on to that. Then let me do my shot real quick.
I thought that was your transition.
It was a
I'm
bit
sorry.
of a transition, but I do want to go ahead and throw back a shot real
Yeah,
quick.
you have to do that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Well, don't worry. Both of you do too.
I know. Sad day.
Beat United and pissed off Ronaldo. I don't give a shit. I'll do a shot on my Lord.
There he goes. All right.
Oh, God. Fuck.
And you've drank a lot of that this season.
More than I. For those of you who do not know, Malort is considered the world's worst alcohol.
Yes.
And as I fondly like to refer to it, it's as if earwax threw up.
Proudly distilled in Chicago. It is their challenge shot there.
All right up there. Jepson's Malort.
Yep.
Yep. You're right. Go ahead. Not a pretty match at all.
No, but Everton were on the front foot pretty much the entire time. From, what was it, the stat that we talked about earlier, the
12th minute, Manchester United had taken their second shot. Their third shot
didn't come to the 80th. Fucking pitiful.
Well, third shot on target that Pickford
Yeah.
had to save. And also, Pickford had to be big. He had those first two saves were monster.
Well, the one was a header from Ronaldo was fantastic. He got down very, very well to
Yeah.
smother that. Was pretty brilliant. It was a strange game. It was like both teams went through stretches where it was basically like most people in high school. They were big dick on campus for about 10 minutes. Then they went through about 20 minutes of feeling no confidence whatsoever. Then they went back to being big dick on campus. And then they went back to having no confidence again.
Brilliant.
It was really strange. But, you did what you had to do. You needed to get it done, and you got it done. And that's all that really matters. And then you got the help, of course, from later on from Norwich, which we'll talk about shortly.
So it's the thing that was very interesting in that match was, again, you applied having a holding midfielder. When you have a center back pairing that's having a hard time keeping teams out of the net, you throw a defensive minded guy in front of them.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because he was, in my opinion, the man of the match, but it's not because he did anything other than his job. Like, he just did his job, and he did it very well. And then on the other side, like, Seamus Coleman was fantastic.
Yep.
And I know he'd been sick and we had been missing, but, you could tell when the pieces are missing, and in that Burnley match, you wonder if, Allen from suspension, Michael Keane from suspension, if they're on the pitch, does that game get capitulated or do they hold on to it? But you also, for Everton, and I said this with people on Twitter, you can't look back at what should have been, and you can't
absolutely not.
And you really can't overly relish this moment. Now you just need to worry about
The next game.
Our next match is Leicester.
Right. You need to worry about the next game.
We have a 4, 6, and 7 point lead, respectively, over 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Yep.
What you need now to worry about is that lead. Is as long as you keep it at 4, 6, and 7 the rest of the season, guess what happens? Don't go down.
You stay up. Yeah. Exactly.
Now,
71 years was your last relegation.
Funny, Sean Dyche talked about being really shitty on the road and that Everton couldn't win on the road because he forgot he's only won one game on the road himself as they went to Norwich this week.
Yeah.
They kind of suck on the road, too.
Yeah. And someone said, I think it was Ralph Regnick after y'all's game, said that if you can't score against a team that shipped 3 goals to Burnley, you don't deserve to win. Just said it like in a press conference. It's like, it's not untrue, but it's definitely a dig.
Oh,
Like,
it's definitely a dig.
you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Still beat you.
Right, yeah. No shit. But it was actually a decent game from Norwich. I wonder if this is their obligatory win towards the end of the season before they inevitably crash down back into the championship.
This is the on our way out the door. Let's get one more. This is the we're in front of our home fans. Let's show them something. I watched the whole match because obviously I have very very specific interest in this outcome of this game.
Course.
So I watched the whole thing, and yeah, it was very much.
Well, they actually had desire for a change. They actually looked like they wanted it.
Here's what you have to remember about bad teams, right? So when you're talking about Burnley and Everton trying to get out of the bottom and trying to survive, if you get punched in the face, all that will goes away very quickly. And that's exactly what happened there. It's, by the end of the first half, Burnley had a few chances, but then going into the second half, it was all
back,
Norwich.
It was back to Norwich again. Yeah,
it was all Norwich. Norwich had it the whole way.
Lise Malou and Timu Pukki with the goals.
Mm-hmm.
But the last thing I wrote down here on my notes for this one is, and this is where Burnley fans are probably going to feel a bit hard done, or well, not hard done because they lost the game and deservedly so, but annoyed, let's say. Where this win did more to damage Burnley than it did to help Norwich.
Yeah.
So it's just really annoying that nothing's actually going to come from them winning this game, but it probably
Norwich is now 7 points
right, but
to relegation as opposed to 10.
It makes Burnley that much more difficult of a hill to climb.
I agree.
In their bid to stay up. So just one of those things. But all in all, I thought it was a decent game from two teams that I didn't really want to watch.
Yeah.
I know that you had an interest in it, an active interest in it. So
that was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
What?
I didn't say active earlier, and I was trying to find my word. So well done.
No problem.
Two minds think alike. Been doing this for 4 years, kid. We know what we're doing, right? Professional. Professional.
Something like that.
Leeds and Watford, I think we've all forgotten. Leeds is still in the relegation battle. Now they're starting to sneak away from it, but this game was very important for them. And if they didn't win it, they would have been drug right back into it because games in the hand are, points on the board are better than games in hand.
Games in the hand are worth two in a bush.
Exactly. but points on the board are more important than games in hand. But still, if Everton wins their games in hand, suddenly Leeds is in 17th place. Everton.
You would have had exactly. They would have been on 30 had they lost this game, right? They would have been on 30 points. You would have been on 28 as you were if everything played out the exact same. But you have 2 games in hand on them.
Yeah, exactly.
So which you could still overtake them should you win your games in hand.
And it's Watford and Leicester, and Leicester's at home. Like those are winnable matches.
They are absolutely
winnable matches.
Not if Kasper Schmeichel's in the form that he was in the weekend.
Jesus, boy, did he have himself a game.
Very fucking well.
But that's the last thing we're going to talk about, that one.
Now, I think now with them having a 9-point lead on Burnley, now again, Burnley also still have 2 games in hand on Leeds. So Leeds aren't out of the woods yet, but they're doing enough, I think, that they'll be able to.
Well, and this was
to steer clear of it.
Convincing win for them.
I'm really happy that a lot of the Ted Lasso shit has kind of calmed down now that he's installed, and now he's got a few wins under his belt.
Yeah.
They look to be in a bit better form, and they can stop, stop being racist.
Shut up. He's a professional coach that knows what he's fucking doing.
Yeah.
And apparently was someone that Leeds had been talking to weeks prior to Marcella. And Marcelo apparently was involved in that as well.
Like, had earmarked him as somebody that would take over.
Right. So shut up, everybody. Seriously, just fucking stop it.
That also speaks to how much of a fucking pervert Marcelo Bielsa is.
Oh, yeah.
For soccer, just in general.
Who's going to replace me? Let me pick. Oh, let me pick the guy that's going to replace me. That would just
But the
suck.
fact that he was involved in it, just like, I feel like they would have called him in for like showdown talks and all that kind of stuff, right? And then Marcelo walks in and be like, "Yeah, no, I know it's been bad. Here's a list of 15 people that I think could do a job."
Close your eyes and paint this picture in your head.
All right.
One of Marsh's interviews has to be in the dark on the physio table.
Naked.
Bielsa balls ass naked, giving him the interview. Yes.
With the translator standing there.
In the veins, right?
Put it right in my veins.
In the veins. In the
Yes.
veins. But insisting that you must keep eye contact in the dark while speaking to me.
If you let your eyes trail off to the balls, that's
Oh,
a mark against you.
And he has to sit on a bucket while he's on while Bielsa's on the physio table. But here is we were talking about fun stats. Here is a fun stat for Watford.
Okay.
Watford has not scored a goal outside of the box, the 18-yard box, in 3 fucking years, Sam. In 3 fucking years, they haven't scored a goal. That means free kicks.
Nothing.
The only free kicks they score are penalties. They haven't scored
or they're lifted into somebody to head home.
A header. Yeah.
But no.
That's
pitiful.
3
That's a
years.
That's a pretty damning stat, to be completely honest.
Also, again, Watford losing at home. Watford is the worst home. So Everton and Burnley really suck on the road. But
Watford's worse at home than you all suck on the road.
Everton gets to play Watford at Watford. I'm kind of like, I kind of fancy my chances in this one because Watford can't do shit at home.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one of the things I wanted to say about Liverpool City, I think I remembered the stat.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool score in almost every game, but have dropped points more often than City have, obviously, which is why they're behind them. But City have failed to score on 4 occasions. So more times than Liverpool has failed to score. They've done that more times than Liverpool have. And it's 4 or 5. So which is going to give in those last few weeks? That's kind of like this Watford situation. Yeah. And you're, poor away form. They're so bad at home. Which one's going to give? Right. Or is it just going to be like a 0-0 fucking nuke the place because nobody should ever have to see that shit ever again?
Well, that would be a Roy Boy match of the ages right there.
A fucking owl.
I
can't wait for him to retire. Roy looks like a fucking owl.
All right, final question for this segment. Of the 5 teams, we're still going to include Leeds in this. I personally feel they've done enough to get themselves out of it. Where do we think Leeds, Everton, Burnley, Watford, and Norwich end up?
I think the 3 that are in there now are the 3 that are going down.
Tend to agree, and I even think,
and I will knock on this new wood table and break it in its luck giving capability, because that could very quickly change.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah. So that's and your run in is not great.
No, very tough run in. The only thing that I give Everton, the one thing they got going for them is a lot of those games, it's Chelsea at home. Could get a point in that one. You can do that, Leicester at home.
I had a lot more confidence in that before this weekend.
Yeah, true. Leicester home, that's a winnable game. Brentford home, winnable game. Palace home, winnable game. You're starting to get those teams where they're going to start to switch off to Dubai time.
Yep.
And both Palace and Watford, the last for Everton, here's what it's really going to come down to. The last 2 weeks of the season, they play midweek, weekend, and it's going to be the Watford on the road, Brentford at home, Palace at home, and then against Arsenal at the Emirates. And for me, what I'm hoping for is by that point,
a winnable game now too.
Is by that point, no shit. By that point, it won't matter anymore.
Right,
and
that's the hope. And Leicester, especially, still vying for the McRib Trophy. So there's a chance, that they could look past you all.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Newcastle 1, Wolverhampton 0, Brighton 2, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 6, Southampton 0, Tottenham 4, Aston Villa 0, Brentford 2, West Ham 0, Leicester City 2, Crystal Palace 1. This should be more called the, so nobody wants to play in Europe except for Chelsea and Spurs, apparently.
Yeah, no shit. So annoying.
You know what? For less for Wolves here, but more talked about Newcastle. Losers of 3 straight. This is exactly the game they needed, because I think everything's been so focused on get out of the bottom, get out of the bottom, get out of the bottom. And they finally did that. I think they've just kind of gone, okay, whew, all right, we're safe now. And you lose 3 in a row, and if they would have lost this one, that would have been 4 in a row, and then suddenly, next thing you know, you're sliding right back down the fucking table.
Yeah.
You're probably safe, but you certainly, with the investment of the club, the change in manager, and everything, you don't want to find yourself at the end of the season going in 17th place going, well, thank God we had that run in February that kept us out.
You know what? I think that what they did in January is they weakened those around them with some of the people they picked up. They made smart signings. They didn't try to overdo it too quickly, which was very smart business in my opinion. Bruno Guimaraes has done pretty well since coming in. He's starting to bet in a little bit better. Joe Willock obviously was injured at the weekend, but he's done very well. Did very well on loan before that, obviously. But taking Chris Wood out of Burnley's setup, masterclass.
Yeah.
He was their only goal scorer, really.
Right.
And then, now he hasn't done much for you, but, here, won you this game,
Yeah.
Well,
and couple that with the fact that you haven't had Callum Wilson because he's been hurt.
because he's been injured.
So you needed a point man. You went out and you got a point man, and you happened to take a point man away from a guy who was a direct competitor.
Exactly. It's a masterstroke from them. Now, we'll see. Again, in my opinion, we've said both of us have said this. This is a difficult sentence to say, more than it should have been.
Words are hard.
I know.
Words are hard.
I was gonna make fun of you for your math earlier too. You're like, if they lost this game, it would have been 4 in a row. Well, that's how numbers work.
Well,
And then I couldn't talk.
If your hair wasn't so poofy, maybe you'd be able to speak better.
Could be. But what I was to say, I think they're safe now. I think this summer we're gonna see possibly a little bit of that banter club sneak back in.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see some outrageous bids for people. We're gonna see some wild ass shit. It's not, and I think they're gonna start next season kind of poorly. I'm gonna call it now.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna start next season kind of poorly, and it's not going to be the rosy thing that everyone thinks it is, because these people will not bet in, and these egos are going to clash a bit. And I think it's going to be strange.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a weird transition period. It'll be a lot like what happened with City, where they had Mark Hughes as the head coach when they first got all that money, coaching Robinho.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. It's just one of those kind of weird in transition things that's just not going to fit for a little while, I think.
Well,
But so far, this January, they did exactly the business they needed to do to get out of the trouble they were in.
pull an Everton and buy all the number 10s in the world.
Yeah. Something like that, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fucking weird.
For Wolves, good news. Everybody else fucking lost.
Yeah.
At least around you, everybody else lost. So you're still in the hunt for the McRib trophy.
Yep.
And you're still kind of in Europa, but probably more like the Conference League is what
We
it
may
looks
have
like.
to change the name of that.
Why?
Well, because the McRib's only available ever so often. This tournament looks like it's here to stay.
Well, I was going to say the beauty of why I call it, since you've called it the McRib, you're the one who coined the phrase, and I've kind of continued with it. I was thinking about it today, is that every year the McRib comes out. You go,
I'm going to have
McRib.
fancy me a McRib.
I'm gonna have me a McRib. Then you get about halfway through it and you go,
Why do I keep doing this?
I don't need this.
That's what Spurs
you wrap
did.
it up and throw it away.
That's what Spurs did this
Exactly.
season. And we got COVID. Can't reschedule it. Fuck it. Just kick us out of the tournament.
So we know teams that are in Europa. We know teams that are in the Champions League. You have any idea who's left in the fucking McRib Cup right now?
I think Leicester are playing like Roma or somebody.
I just, again, it's the McRib trophy. You fancy it for a minute, and then you take a couple of bites and go,
Not so sure about this.
not for me.
That's like when Jose Mourinho's Roma ended up in like Bodo Glimt or wherever up in like northern Denmark. It's like in the Arctic Circle. Fuck that.
Second gaff in a row for you guys. Normally you've been rebounding. What, like?
So Brighton's been a bit of a bogey team for us
Has-
anyway the last couple of years, which I find very annoying.
Hold on. Arson did a team talk and said, "All right, boys, this is what we normally, fuck everything off. So this is what I need you to do. Like, I'm going to pull some treats out of my pockets for all of you youngins, and then you all go fuck it off."
Okay. Yeah, why would Arsene Wenger do that to us?
Because that's how he rolls.
But Arsene Wenger's not our coach anymore.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. He came back to make
he
sure.
just came back to do that.
just to have that team talk.
I gotcha. It looked like, honestly, both teams were scared to make a mistake in the opening bit.
Yeah.
Some pretty bad football started the game off. Everyone looked kind of tentative. But Brighton did well. I mean, you can't really – they beat the offside trap. They did everything they had to do. I mean, they were good to go. I'm really actually annoyed. I'm more annoyed by Arsenal taking until the 83rd minute or whatever it was to fucking wake up and apply real pressure. But it was a great goal from Martin Odegaard. Again, despite the deflection, I thought it was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
But they hit the bar two times in that final few minutes as well. So it could have been a different story. I think VAR getting involved in Gabriel Martinelli's goal is bullshit. There's no conclusive evidence that he was offside.
Other than the fact that he's standing next to the goalie and all the other blue shirts are in front of him.
Don't care. You could not tell whose foot was where from the angle that they showed for VAR. And in that vein, you cannot overturn that goal. The goal was given. There is no clear and obvious evidence that he was offside.
Do you need my documents? I've got
I'm
documents
just saying,
over here for you.
There's nothing.
Clearly, you need
It's
the documents.
Bullshit.
Sure,
That goal should have stood.
Sure thing, Alex Jones. I hear you.
That goal should have stood. That goal should have stood.
All
That's
right.
trash.
All right. Very good.
And I think if it did, you go into halftime, and you've got a real chance coming out afterwards. I thought it was odd playing Granit Xhaka at left back. It broke up the midfield, obviously. Sambi Lokonga is still young, good player, and I think he'll develop further and be fine. But our strength has been our midfield. And with Partey being out, you're now changing the entire dynamic of the midfield by taking Xhaka out of it.
Right.
But I think, conversely, Mikel Arteta needed to send a message to Nuno Tavares, who played like shit the other day against Palace. A lot of what happened was directly a result of his issues.
Oh, you mean left back that fancies himself a striker?
Yeah.
Was way too far up the pitch.
Yeah, all the time. And that happens a lot. That happened in City Liverpool with Kyle Walker for that other goal. Players that are gifted with speed sometimes get lazy.
Right.
Sometimes cheat forward because they know they have the speed to get back. The problem is when you're playing against somebody like Wilfred Zaha or Eze, or in this case Trossard, or somebody who has
Oh, they're going to make you fucking pay.
right, because you're not that much faster than they are to make up that much ground in that short space of time.
Right.
You have to be like running against Ashley Barnes to be able to make up that 15 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they can keep up. You'll only make up 2-3 yards by the time he gets to the ball.
And it's already too late.
It's already too late at that point. So I think he needed to send a message to him. I get that. But at the same token, we now had, over the span of the two games, I think a 10-goal swing against Spurs for fourth. So now they're leading us on goal differential as well as in points. So our game in hand is
You have to beat them.
we have to win now.
You have to go.
We absolutely
you
have to win.
go to Spurs.
They've got a
and
five.
you
I
have
think
to
they have a
beat Spurs.
5-goal lead on us.
Yeah, in their building, you have to beat them. I mean,
Right.
it's a tall task now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very tall task.
Now it is. They fucking figured it out, which is bullshit because we should have played that game a couple of weeks ago when they were still a basket case.
Okay.
But so it's just annoying.
All
It's you know what? It's fine.
Tell us how you really feel. How about you have a shot of Malort?
No, it's Mike Dean and Neil Warnock's fault. And
We are now about to be 2/3 of the way to what our fans really like, which is when all three of us have to do shots of Malort in the same show.
Here we go. All right, up the Arsenal. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Hey,
Kids being kids.
hey, Mel. No, yours is coming.
Every photograph I just took of him, 3 in a row, his eyes are closed in all of them. I'm not retaking it. That's just what I'm sending him.
Good. Well, because he always handles the Instagram, and whenever he puts up posts to the Instagram,
Yeah.
it's always him looking his best and me looking like dog shit. It's like, okay.
I picked the best thing that I get from her.
Yeah.
Tell her to
best
take
thing-
better pictures.
Best thing for you is what you do.
She always makes me look a treat. Sorry, she doesn't do that for you.
We always like to poke a jab at our boy Kenny, Southampton supporter.
I texted him during the thing and shared the screenshots.
for the 9-0 losses. This one was 6-0. This one was worse than both of the 9-0s combined because Chelsea hit 3 posts. Forrester made 7 saves. 5 of them were like goal-saving saves.
I think it was 8.
This game could have been 17-0.
I'm gonna look it up.
Easily could have been 17-0.
I think it was 8 saves, like good saves too.
Like really good saves. It was.
Chelsea had 14 shots on target. Scored the 6. So yeah, it had to be 8 saves. Had to be 8 saves.
Fucking. This. I mean, seriously.
Timo Werner scored twice.
I
don't know how
scored twice too.
So, but the thing I was going to plug too is Drunkard United FC is our closed Facebook group where we talk all the shit. That's where we have a lot of fun. The Drunkard United football show page is more just admin show stuff, but DUFC is where we talk all our shit. So find it, ask to join it, and we'll get you signed up.
The meme game is strong.
Yeah, meme game is very strong.
Very strong.
Actually, Smokey sent me something that he was like, I don't know if I should share this one in the group, but I saw it and it's pretty grim. I'll share it with y'all afterwards. It's Putin on a thing. I think it was Liga Warsaw or somebody in Poland. One of their teams unfurled this banner, and it was basically an effigy of Putin with a noose around his neck.
Oh,
and the stands are unloading this banner out. It's
wow.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna like this. I'm not gonna put it up.
And I was like, much.
Yeah, I said, don't. That's pretty grim, but they got some balls.
Yeah.
That's some fucking balls.
I mean, remember, he did just look at Japan and go, oh, yeah, that little island up there, that's mine now. He's
yeah.
So it only a matter of time before he starts going west. Allegedly.
We're so fucked.
Allegedly.
We're all so fucked.
Saturday.
YouTube, Saturday.
But so I texted Kenny, and I got his screenshot, too. I said, could it be on the cards again? Question mark? And he texted me back because I'm so glad I decided not to watch. And then he sent me a picture of his daughter. They were at the aquarium in Narnia. Yeah. And he was like, I'm so fucking happy I decided to do this. This is way more interesting.
Aquarium. Watching my 2-year-old look at fish is far more interesting than watching my team get just demolished.
I don't know how you lose 6-0 and the best player on your team is your goalkeeper.
Just
should have been man of the match still.
Oh my!
It's insane.
He should have been man of the match over the Chelsea players. I mean, let's face it. He did make more goal-saving saves than actual goals in a 6-0 game.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only thing to really say is it wasn't 9-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not as funny. Still pretty good, but not as funny. I also do enjoy the fact that they've lost both 6 and 9-0.
Way
hard face.
Hard face.
But Chelsea did
Sunset hard hands. Sunset hard hands.
Chelsea did dominate throughout the entire game. And they basically just chose Southampton to exercise their demons from the last 2 months on.
Yeah.
Where they haven't played very well, culminating in, what was it, a 3-1 loss at Stamford Bridge, I think it was, to Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Yep. And the 4-1 4 unanswered
from Brentford, just before that. Yeah, they've given up 7 goals in 2 games there. Yeah. And I think they just decided, like, fuck it, we're going to do this. You know what I mean? We're going to try to figure it out. I thought it may have started the downfall of Thomas Tuchel, honestly, those 2 results back to back. And then they turn around and do this.
Yeah.
So it's all right. They did pretty well. I was impressed by it. Southampton didn't do themselves any favors. They played like shit.
This might be what comfortably gives them third.
Yeah.
This result
especially now. After Arsenal fell off a bit, everyone else seemed to lose around there except Spurs.
Because, like I said at the start of the show, we were all talking about, obviously the top of the table clash. The bottom of the table was really entertaining this weekend. But there's a lot going on for the spots in Europe. And going into this weekend, everybody was going, I don't know. Chelsea's going to be third place. Chelsea could fall out of this very quickly, especially with as well as Spurs are played at the time, minus the Palace loss. Arsenal's playing, and Wolves aren't playing bad, and West Ham's playing pretty decent. Like, Chelsea could find themselves in 6th in a hurry if they're not comfortable. If they're not careful.
It says something that this game ends up in that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how good this fucking week was.
Absolutely.
How good this week was.
That's how so many fucking talking points from this weekend.
Really weird game with Tottenham and Villa. I mean, frankly, Tottenham did what Tottenham does, which is will withstand pressure, counterattack goal. Okay, withstand a ton of pressure. Like the first half, after that goal, it was all one-way traffic. It was all Villa.
yeah, big time.
Come out second half, another goal.
Well,
And
you
then-
always got the feeling that if Villa didn't take advantage of that pressure, that Tottenham had the tools to destroy them.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. They soaked up that 40 minutes of pressure because they got that goal early. Kind of nobody really had stretched their legs yet, which was unfortunate, obviously, for Villa. But they turned it on. They didn't drop their heads. They didn't do it. They played and played and played. They just couldn't find the breakthrough. Hugo Lloris had himself a fucking hell of a match.
Oh,
the
he
only
did.
person that outdid him this weekend was Fraser fucking Forrester, and he lost 6-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was insane. He played so well. I mean,
There
the
was
fucking he
four-
saved one that was already behind him.
4 quality
Christ's sake.
saves in the first half that kept Villa out of the net.
Oh yeah.
And there was lots of opportunities. It just felt like for Villa at some point they just kept kind of pushing, and it was like you almost went like, just stop, lose 2-0, stop pushing. It's only going to get worse.
Well,
and it got
and
worse.
it's not like even in the second half they played that bad. It was really the goals were like individual mistakes that Tottenham just punished. They all of a sudden look like they're firing on all cylinders, like they're a world-class finishing side.
Mel, I know you weren't able to take in a ton of the game because
No, I
But you
listened.
were listening.
I listened and watched the first half, and then once I got to the venue and we were already losing, I was just like, I need an update. And you were like 2-0. Nope, 4-0. I went, you know what? I don't need to listen to this anymore.
Well, that's what happened. I went and took a shit. Villa were like down like 1-0. It was like coming back from halftime, quick 2-0. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, and I was like, ooh, something's percolating. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. So I did. Came back. It was 4-0, and I was like, what the fuck happened? What did I miss?
I didn't even bother watching highlights or anything. I figured it's just stuff I didn't need to see. But
Hey,
Yeah.
very whoa, everybody. We're overlooking the most important thing.
Son did it for the children.
Son scores a hat trick for the children. The children, Melissa. The fucking children.
Some of those words were right. How about fuck the children up the Villa?
Damn. Shit.
Coming in hot. There you go, producer Mel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them snotty-nosed little brats. All they are germ factories, rubbing their little noses on everything.
That's how we're all screwed in my house. Cameron brought something home from daycare.
Oh no.
Yeah. So wife was laid up all weekend. This was supposed to be a spa weekend away. Ends up wife laid up sick. Sam has to do all of the fucking chores. So I cleaned the entire house between Friday and Saturday afternoon, where we normally split that work.
Right.
Right? She'll take care of the kitchen. I'll do the
Carly
living room.
told me she had a great plan to get you to do the house. I didn't know that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Get my
So-
child sick so I could get sick
so
so,
I
I
did
can make my
fucking
husband
everything.
do
Yeah,
everything.
I was so annoyed. And that's where the bender started, because I did everything. She was like, if you want to go out or something, go ahead. And I was like, so, here I come. And then I just never stopped drinking, really. Got home at 3 in the morning. Don't really remember it, to be honest with you. And then Sunday, I think I started drinking immediately after my soccer game at 12:30.
Yeah, it's, I do recall talking to you in the tub drinking a beer.
Yeah.
When I talked to you on the phone.
I ended up drinking 3 beers in that same bath.
That a boy.
was only
Oh
there-
boy.
I didn't even finish an episode of Chicago PD.
You know who is in a bath drinking fucking 3 beers? West Ham.
Yeah.
They looked right past this match. They had a
Big time.
really big Europa clash, and then just
Yeah.
looked right past
They
this one, and
absolutely did.
Brentford
Now,
put it right on them.
To give credit to Brentford, they were excellent. Ivan Toney and Mbeumo, they both of them were everywhere in this game. They honestly looked like Mwepu for Brighton against us. They were everywhere in this game. And there were many more chances to be had. I mean, Fabianski made a couple of decent saves, especially from Mbeumo in this one. It was absolutely fantastic from them. Again, Christian Eriksen brought. I think his signing may be the signing of the season. Honestly, I think the way that he balanced that midfield, that defined everybody else's. It's not even necessarily what he does, but it defines everybody else's role so well that now they look like a well-oiled machine.
Well, the midfield is able to get the ball to the attack in attacking positions.
Correct.
As
Yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to them just like
Having to come back and try to get it and being
back
isolated
to
and all that kind of stuff.
goal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
put it out to the wings, cross it in. It's like the ball's getting probed in attacking defenses.
Absolutely.
Which is really big.
But like I said, it was more like when Wisa was starting alongside Embuemo, alongside, whoever else was there. I can't even remember. Norgard and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
They just looked like everybody. They basically a team full of box-to-box midfielders.
Right.
That was trying to play other roles. And now with Christian Eriksen, it gives everybody a very specific, defined, this is your job now.
Right.
Because he's here.
Right.
Right. So it allows them a bit of structure, if you will.
Agreed.
And they look very difficult to break down. I mean, they look really good in this game.
Agreed. I hate to use the term all but safe, but Brighton's all but safe. Like normally there's a magic number in this league. If you get to 39 points, you're safe, right? Because no
Brentford,
one,
you mean?
Brentford, I meant, yeah. No one ever goes down with 39 points in the history of the league. So they're not there yet, but they're just about there. So I'm going to use the quote unquote all but safe. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Solid win for the Foxes, but really it all comes down to just two things. Schmeichel played his dick off, like one of the best performances he's had in a long time.
Yes.
And then what the fuck was up with all that penalty at the end?
So I waited to bring up your deflected goal from Anthony Gordon on Harry Maguire. Deflected off Harry Maguire because it had to be him. It was written in the stars.
Oh, yeah, it has to be Maguire.
I waited to bring that up until now because I want to talk about Harry Maguire Jr. Obviously, him having come from Leicester. So Yunchu is Harry Maguire Jr.
Yes.
He's gotten himself into some very
such a terrible year.
very
this year.
hapless positions.
Yeah.
And it all started, you remember when he kicked the fuck out of whoever it was in the goal, like the last game of last season or
Yep.
whatever it was?
And it's just been
It's been right downhill since then. And especially with Turkey and the Euros, I mean, they were horrendous.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up those two things together because I think a lot of what happened was mostly his fault. Giving away the penalty originally, right?
Yep.
I think he was out of position, and that forced, was it Tillemans that actually fouled the person, correct?
Right.
I think that forced Yuri Tillemans to do something that he shouldn't have needed to do.
Right.
One. Then he encroaches after Kasper Schmeichel saves the penalty.
Saves the penalty.
He encroached the area, which you're not allowed to do. There's no. He was 6 yards in front of anyone else by the time he got to the
Right.
ball. Was able to clear it away. VAR took a look, told him to retaken. Kasper Schmeichel saves again.
Saves it again. he saves it. They call back the penalty. He saves it again and then gets scored on.
The unluckiest dickhead in the entire country last weekend.
After standing on his head the entire match, and it's a 2-0 game. It's a throwaway game. There's no need for that goal. The goalie deserves a shutout. This is one, a former goalie speaking, you just walk away going, the fuck,
You fucking asshole.
shutout. What the fuck is that bullshit? I mean,
So stupid.
you're just angry. You're angry at everything because you're like, I played my fucking ass off, and this is to fucking me runs in and encroach. Then I save it again, and then it falls right to him, and he hits a fuck everybody. Like, be like, hey, we won. Be fuck all of you. I don't
Dewsbury-
care. That is exactly. Schmeichel's like, everybody's like 3 points. He's like, fuck your 3 points. Shut out of that match. Fuck you.
So, other than that, the positives for Leicester, obviously Dewsbury Hall looks a player. I think he's coming on leaps and bounds. We'll see how his kind of sophomore season goes next season. But I think he's one to watch, especially with kind of interest in James Madison and a little bit of
Tillemans.
murmurs in Harvey Barnes as well, and Yuri Tillemans is another one. So I think Dewsbury Hall is going to be coming into a lot of playing time here very shortly.
Yeah, and he's learning quickly, and he's doing well.
He's looked like he's a player.
Yeah.
He's a player. He's still young, makes some mistakes, but he gives us all, and he's got a bit about him. He can pick a pass, and he scored a goal or two. But he played Ademola Lookman through very, very well, and what a composed finish. It was excellent.
And then he also got the goal too, right? He got the second goal.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. Fantastic strike, that one.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, so Well, we need something witty.
I don't have anything witty this time.
Fuck you.
Sure money.
Okay. Sure money. God damn it.
Sorry, Russ.
I lost again.
Yeah, so did I.
So did Pat.
Chicken hit.
The chicken did hit. So if you want to use this segment to better inform yourselves about your betting strategies when you're at the old casino, listen to the fucking chicken.
Yeah.
Stop
Yes,
listening to
The
us.
prognosticating poultry will pick games better than we do.
So now, me and Pat, though, are still in the positive, I believe. But Sam, I throw it over to you, my friend, to tell us what you have going on this week.
Richie scored twice, but I still lost, so I am down $1,129.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Mr. Graham,
It's a mortgage payment.
21% of the time, it works. 100% of the time. For the couple losers, I am putting in Richie scored twice, but still found a way to get Burnley.
Yeah.
There we go.
I can't believe they scored 3.
And for this week, I am going to do a 2-game parlay betting on the bottom of the table to lose. Brentford to beat Watford and West Ham to beat Burnley at plus 355.
Okay. That's not bad, actually. A
Thanks.
little chip off the top there.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
going for
I
that.
see you. Let's see what you got going on. Pat is actually out of town this week. He's
Huh?
on vacation, so I have his email pulled up,
Very good.
ready to go.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
The wonderfully titled email, Magical Pooter Picks. I have no idea why he wrote that.
Because he's in the land of the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, but what's pooter?
Computer.
Oh, I get it now. It's pretty funny.
2
still.
hours later, he gets the joke.
Either way, it's still funny. Well, I lost yesterday on my 2-way parlay because of a draw in the City-Liverpool match. And since I'm standing in Diagon Alley in London drinking Boddington's, I'm going to make quick picks for next week. I'm going to put $100 on Norwich City over Manchester United at plus 1,200, $100 on Burnley over West Ham at plus 430, and $240 to win 200 on Arsenal over Southampton. You boys have a great week. Time for me to go do some wizard shit.
I figure he just decided that, fuck you, DeSantis. I'm going to go ahead and support the mouse and everything down there.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly his
I
role.
don't know. What I will say, though, is you're a wizard, Pat.
All right, Grammy, what do you got?
All right, so I'm still up $84 despite my loss. Okay? Now, I got something here that I think is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Brentford over Watford, Arsenal over Southampton, and Newcastle over Leicester. Now, that's the one that's the question mark.
I don't think it's much of a question because it's at Newcastle, and
I
over
know.
the last several years, Leicester loves to fuck it off
lose
at
there.
Newcastle.
Yep. And that's why I picked it. And they gave me a very generous plus 973.
Okay.
So I could be challenging Mr. Pat up there in the old $1,000 land here shortly, especially if he fucks off his. He put a lot of money up.
By the way, Mr. Graham, I do want to reinstate, I know we never officially put it down, but even with where I am and where you are, an almost $1,200 gap, loser this season does 4 shots of Malort at the end of the year throughout a show.
We doing that again like we did with the FA Cup, but we never talked about it prior to, so you
Yeah.
just fucked it off and made me do mine?
Well, but I'm going
Got
to be
it.
a man. I'm going to be a man and do this, and it's
but you were bitch lit before that.
no, but just because
didn't do your shot when you got knocked out of the FA Cup?
I have confidence you're going to
4-0 to Palace.
I have confidence that you're going to fuck off your bets.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to... You know what I'll start doing? If you lose one more time, you know what I'll start doing then for the last 6 weeks? I bet Arsenal will play this weekend. But $1 million to win $1 million in a cent.
Be careful.
Nobody's taking
Be
that
careful. You never can tell what might happen, though.
Because I'll pull a you and do one of those 8-game parlays and it'll hit and you'll be like, fuck.
Yeah. That would be my luck.
That'd be pretty great. You know what's really great?
What's that?
We have a chicken.
Ooh.
Well, Kitty hit. Pulling down the wrong sound thing. Kitty hit with leads and sits at 16 over 12. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's good. Better than us.
Now, this week, I was checking in on the new chickie babies, and wouldn't you know it, the Comet, which we have actually named the Comet.
Oh, that's true. We have.
The Comet is Abby.
Right, because Abby wants all the chickens to be named Abby.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Now it's just 2 chickens named Abby, but she has accepted that maybe just the Comet is the only Abby.
Very good.
But I was-
Idea.
Idea.
Maybe they all shouldn't be named the same shit.
But the Comet Abby jumped up on my knee and handed me the tiniest little postcard from Kitty.
Well, shit.
Yep. Besides a list of coop etiquette that Kitty needs the new girls to know before she returns.
Well, you got to be in check. I mean, Kitty does rule.
You know, I looked very carefully and I had to use a magnifying glass, by the way. I saw at the bottom of the postcard a PS that said, CR7 broke my mother effing phone, so I better take Man United this week.
Ah, so Man U over Norwich. Okay.
Yeah, apparently we must not have seen that on camera, but apparently he was on a tirade.
I mean, it wasn't the only phone he broke, apparently.
No.
More on
And
that to come.
I'm guessing he won't be invited to any of Kitty's tea parties anytime soon.
Maybe Kitty
Not if
will
he
be.
likes to break shit. No.
Maybe Kitty will be invited to an old game at Old Trafford because that fixes everything.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but what I do know, it is very important to gamble legally and responsibly.
Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
It is getting tighter and tighter and tighter in these playoff places. Swansea beat Millwall 1-0 on Tuesday. Peterborough and Luton 1-1, which has some implications there at the bottom of the table. Preston beat Blackpool 1-0. Sheffield United over QPR 1-0. Reading 2-1 over Stoke, which sucks for our boys at Derby County, which is, particularly annoying. On Wednesday, Fulham beat Borough 1-0, and a pretty cracking game, to be honest. I think that's Alexander Mitrovic's 38th goal or some shit this season. He's on course to do some record, I think. West Brom finally won a game, beat Bournemouth 2-0, and then Nottingham Forest took out Coventry 2-0. On Saturday, Sheffield United and Bournemouth drew 0-0. Blackpool and Blackburn 1-1. Peterborough, another draw for the Posh. Hull and Borough finished 1-0 to Hull. Millwall got back to winning ways 4-1 over Barnsley. Nottingham Forest 2-0 over Birmingham City. Preston North End beat QPR 2-1, so not great for QPR heading into this. Reading lost to Cardiff 2-1. Derby, though, could not beat Swansea, and they ended up falling 2-1, which fucking sucks.
On a penalty that apparently Rooney, after the match, got in some trouble for saying that the ref got it completely wrong and that the ref should be banned from football.
Banned for forever. Banned for football forever. Fuck him.
For you.
Typically
Exile him.
not good to talk about the officiating. That's normally going to get, even if you go, I didn't agree with the ref's call, they give you a fine. When you say you should be banned from football, somebody might be seeing a sanction or a suspension.
Well, exile him. What does he want him to do? Put him in the town square. And what's that thing called?
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame.
Make him wear a scarlet R. Fucking hell. And then Stoke beat West Brom 3-1 as they continue their slide. On Sunday, Coventry actually beat Fulham 3-1.
I saw
so
that
this
one.
is where Fulham has decided they've already won the league and decided to fuck everything off.
I still got a 10-point lead.
Yeah. Huddersfield 2-0 over Luton on Monday. That leaves you with Fulham on 83 points in first place. Bournemouth in second on 73. Huddersfield in third on 69. Forest in fourth now on 67 points and a plus 25 goal differential. Mm-hmm. Steve Koppel, I think is his name, right? Got them playing very fucking well. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see Forest back in the Premier League, honestly.
It would be good. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It
I
would
think
really
it'd be
great.
a lot of fun.
Them, or I know Blackburn's kind of slipped out of it a little, but those are the two teams I'm kind
Yeah,
of
but they're still right involved. And Forest actually have 2 games in hand on Huddersfield still. Bournemouth, actually, Forest could catch Bournemouth.
Yeah.
They're both on the same number of games, but there's only a 6-point gap there.
Yeah.
Man. Luton is in 5th place. Sheffield United in 6th, rounding out the playoff places. Both of those teams are on 65 points. Same number of games as those two is Blackburn, now in 7th place on 63. Middlesbrough is still in with a shout. They've only played 40 games, so they do have a game in hand. They're on 62 and have not as good of a goal differential as the two occupying the playoff places, but they're only 2 behind. So if they win 2-0 or better, they'll find themselves in the playoff spots instead, should they win that game in hand.
Absolutely.
You got Millwall, a little outside chance at 61 points in 9th, Coventry 59, QPR 59, West Brom 57, in one of the most spectacular championship slides ever recorded. Because remember, they were 2nd place forever.
Second and cruising.
Yeah, and then they fired their manager and brought in Steve Bruce.
And it is gone.
Why would you do that? Yeah, Peterborough's still bottom of the league on 28 points, but they are now tied with Derby County on 28 as well. Played the same number of games. Barnsley have a game in hand on them, having only played 40, but they have 29 points, so they're still in 22nd. And Reading now with a 9-point lead. 8 points on Barnsley, but specifically to Derby, it's a 9-point
Thinking it's too
gap.
little too late for Derby.
So do I, and without the points deduction, I do want to mention, I always like to do this, they have 12 wins, 13 draws, 16 losses. So it's 36 points from wins. So that'd be 49 points, which would be good enough to be tied with Cardiff. Actually have a better goal differential, so they wouldn't be tied with Cardiff. They would be in sole possession of 17th place if they didn't have that points deduction, which is a real shame.
Yeah, hell of a note. All right, well, that's
But Wayne Rooney's done such a good job there.
I wonder if he's going to go down with them to League One to try to get him back up.
I don't know. If it doesn't work, that's a problem for his stock, I think.
Yeah. I think
so. I think if they do get relegated, there'd be no shame in jumping ship at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
To protect his own managerial brand.
Yeah, agree.
Personally, Everton's going to need a coach.
Heard. Hey, the only time we win trophies is when it's a former Everton player managing.
Well, fair enough.
And we've won a lot of trophies, so if there is an opportunity to win there, well, let's get him trained up.
There you go.
Let's get him certified first. He needs to have his paperwork, which he does not still have. So we need to take care of that first and foremost. Let's go wrap it up, boys and girls. Sammy, any parting words?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And it references that lovely pink bear that you have over your left shoulder. That, if you don't know, is the D-back bear. For those of you just joining us for the first time, we have a motto here on the show, and it's "Don't be a C word." Okay, we are submitting the show for an awards thing, so we're not going to say said C word, even though we usually do. Okay, so you will get the little bit of an edited version here. But basically, if you wake up in your daily life with the sole purpose of not being a C word, usually things turn out okay for you.
Yeah.
So when people are C words, we like to point out the fact that they're C words and make sure they know.
The D-back bear.
Cristiano Ronaldo. You dickhead. What are you doing? Smashing a child's phone.
No. Not just a child's. It's a 14-year-old, so a teenager who's autistic.
Oh, makes it worse.
His first live Everton match.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you doing?
All the kid was doing was taking his camera because Ronaldo had pulled off his shin guard and pointed at his shin where he had,
Stud marks.
Right,
Yeah.
which, by the way, asshole, wear bigger fucking shin pads.
It's just part of it.
Part of the game, right? But he wants to be like, oh, I got hurt, so that's why we didn't win. And the kid, all he did was take his camera and point it down towards his shin to get a look at it. And what happens?
Ronaldo smacked it out of his hand.
Hard.
Yeah, and it fucking broke.
I mean, left the kid a bruised hand too.
Oh, did he really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that part of it.
Oh yeah. The mother
makes it
was
10 times worse.
Oh
you
yeah.
hit an autistic child.
And bruised his hand.
And then
You're the most
audacity.
famous player in the world.
What's the bigger dick move? Doing that or
the audacity of the apology, which was very well scripted and mechanical.
oh my gosh.
PR wrote it for him.
The apology
No.
offered the kid tickets to Old Trafford to see a Manchester United game. He's an Everton Everton supporter. What? Cheers, man? I don't want to fucking go there.
He's an Everton supporter. Hasn't he suffered enough?
Exactly.
Yeah. He has to go watch that draw instead of town 45 minutes away.
The least you can do, I don't know.
Buy the phone.
Exactly.
Buy the phone. You have a supercar collection that cost $700 million.
The bare minimum you can do is buy the fucking kid a phone.
Buy the phone. It's probably hard to get in touch with him since you broke his phone.
Sign a jersey, sign some cleats, send them to the kid, tell mom to eBay them, and get fucking paid. Like, Jesus. Like,
well, that's what he did for the kid in Madrid that had cancer. A family wrote him, like, hey, my kid has cancer. We can't pay for the surgery. Any way you can help? He sent in, like, 7 signed shirts with certificates of authenticity, a couple of pairs of signed boots. They sold for over 175,000 euro. And the kid got his surgery paid for and still had like 30,000 euro left over. Here, he offers free tickets that are free to him. He offers free tickets to a supporter of a different club who's autistic for a phone that he broke. Just hand the kid 200 quid. You have it in your asshole. Just pull out 200 quid and give it to him.
D-back.
I'm looking to see if there's been any change. Like, has he come back and said, oh, my bad, that was a dick offer? But no, there's been no update except police are getting involved.
Good. Yeah, because it's criminal shit.
I mean, that was an assault.
Sam, your head hurt? How about a pair of tickets to Old Trafford? Hey,
Mel, you know what?
Is your leg a little cramp?
Yeah, it hurts.
How about a couple of tickets to Old Trafford?
Oh, my God.
Apparently, that's going to solve everything now.
It's like, what?
Africa, children are hungry. Couple tickets to Old Trafford.
Harry Maguire can fix it. Harry Maguire's face fixes everything.
I like the thought process there. Africa, comma, children are hungry. It's a sentence I never thought you'd say. Fucking weird.
Here we go. You know what? Ronaldo, smacking phone out of kid's hand. Picture, Harry Maguire pointing at things, pointing at a pair of tickets to Old Trafford.
This is stupid. He's a supporter of a different club. That's like Harry Kane kicks me in the balls and Lucas Moura offers me tickets to Spurs. I don't want to fucking go. I want 30,000 pounds for you assaulting me, you I can't say it.
Oh, there we go.
It's so stupid.
You unconscientious person. That's what you meant to say, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say it. I didn't finish the word.
Unconscientious.
All right, that's going to wrap it up,
So
boys and
dumb.
girls. Next up is Injury Time, where we review the beers we've been drinking. We talk about our adopted clubs, which one of them, some bad mojo went down for this weekend.
Yes.
The other Catholic team in Scotland did not do so good. We got some bad stuff that happened. And we also preview the weekend's action, including the FA Cup semifinals as well.
Ooh.
Should one want to check out our Injury Time, Sam, how did they go about doing it?
Well, it all hinged on you having a still working phone. But you just log on to that phone that Cristiano Ronaldo didn't break, and you go to patreon.com/DUFootballShow and sign up to that one beautiful, very simple, easy $5 tier, and you get both Soundcheck and Injury Time, which are 2 extra shows, as well as throughout the year peppered in some pretty cool extra stuff as well. And lastly, some swag. Make sure you get the swag on all the social medias. In the bios, we have the DU Drip Shack link set up, so you're very easy to just find us at DU Football Show, or just email us and we can email you the link, dufootballshow@gmail.com, if that's what you want. So make sure you support the show. It helps keep the lights on, helps keep us moving. We are an award-winning show, even if there is a conspiracy against us.
You know, Sam, it's no pair of tickets to Old Trafford, but I do love doing the show with you every week.
So do I.
Till next week, everybody.
I should smack your camera right off the fucking table right now, but there's 2 bottles of whiskey it would take out also, so I'll refrain.